Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and this is day 19 of the 80 Days to Your Dream Body course. Today's protein source is going to be rabbit, and today is going to be a shoulders and arms training routine. And the theme for today's workout is going to be assisted PNF stretching. So right now, I'm going to be demonstrating some more assisted PNF stretches. Now let's get started. And while we were resting, it is time to continue with our PNF demonstration. Now, we've done all of the sideline stretches. We have the patient in a prone position now. With prone, the first thing that we want to focus on is the lumbar extensors. The lumbar extensors, for this one right over here, we're going to be using a cross hand position. For some people, this can be a little bit uncomfortable. There are going to be some variations that you can do. I'll show you those, but first, let's focus with the cross hand. With the cross hand, what you would want to do is get one hand near the rib cage and then one hand at the posterior superior iliac spine, or the PSIS. With the hand at the rib cage, you want to go right to the bottom of the 12th floating rib. And then with the other hand, you want to go at the top of the PSIS. With this one right over here, the hand that's on the PSIS, you want to be careful with your fingers. You don't want them going somewhere where the patient doesn't want them to go. So you really want your hand up. If you have very, very limited extension in the forearm, then this is not going to be the best option for you. I'm going to be showing you a modification. But if you have good extension in the wrists, this should be fine for you. What you would do, again, we're going cross-handed. So we go one hand at the rib cage, one hand at the posterior superior iliac spine. And then with this one, we are pushing in opposite directions. So we are raising the rib cage up, we're pushing the ilium down. What we would do is instruct the patient. So we would get them into a nice stretch, inhale, and have them arch their back. So they would arch their back, go into extension. And then on the exhale, we would sink them and get deeper into flexion of the lumbar spine to stretch the lumbar extensors. With regard to this one right over here, if that hand position is not comfortable for you due to wrist mobility, what you can do is have your palms in supination. So your forearms are going to be supinated. And then what you can do is lean into the lumbar spine, and then you can go into pronation. So what you would do is start in supination, go into pronation as much as you get a nice stretch. So it may even be midway just so that your palms are facing each other. And then you would instruct the patient, inhale, go into, so bring your pelvis up, or just tell them go into extension of the lumbar spine, whatever cue gets the job done. And then they would inhale and go. And then on the exhale, you would take them in opposite directions. Play with both, see which one feels more comfortable for you. But with regard to this one right over here, primarily we are going to be targeting the multifidus and the erector spinae group. The erector spinae, if you recall, from lateral to medial, we have the iliocostalis, the longissimus, and the spinalis closest to the spine. We're also going to be getting a little bit of the quadratus lumborum and the semispinalis, and to a much lesser extent, we're going to be getting a little bit of the interspinalis, the rotatories, and the latissimus dorsi muscle. If you recall, the latissimus dorsi connects to the thoracolumbar fascia, which connects to the pelvis. So by creating space in the thoracolumbar fascia, that's going to transfer up to the latissimus dorsi muscle. With regard to the different hand positions as well, depending on where exactly we are playing with it, that's going to dictate the response. If we want to get more of the spinalis, what we would do is have our hand closer to the spine. And then if we wanted to target a little bit more of the iliocostalis, since it's the most lateral, instead of going in this position, we would just place this hand a little bit more laterally on the rib cage to get a little bit more stretch in the iliocostalis. But play around with the different hand positions, see which one feels the most comfortable for you. And if anybody has any type of restrictions with regard to lumbar flexion, if they're too much in extension and you want to get them a little bit more out of extension and into flexion, this would be absolutely phenomenal. But rest period is up. Time for set number 2. That was just a tiny taste of what can be found in my members only section. If you enjoyed it, become a member for only $5 a month to get access to hundreds of member only videos.